everyone. Happy Monday. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Today we are going to be touching on 913, which is more review of the quadratic formula. Hope that song has been stuck in your head all weekend. So first we're going to go over some homework. There's not going to be a warm-up, so ignore that part. And we're just going to do 924 and 925. That's all you need for your notes. 926, if you want to try that one on your own for extra practice, go for it. And your homework for Monday night is 927 and 933. And then we still have that learning log from Friday. 916 is due Wednesday. And then your test corrections. Please don't forget about your test corrections. Those are due Friday. And without further ado, let's get started. Let's check our homework. Pause the video right here, please, and check 912 and take a minute to do so. All right. Hope you don't have any questions on that. If you do, as always, you can email me, and let's get going with 913. So what if the equation is not in standard form? So we're going to be doing more solving of quadratics using the quadratic formula. And today we're going to apply and extend what we know about solving quadratics. So 924. We are given the equation 6x squared plus 11x minus 10. First step, we're going to solve it using the zero product property. So we're going to do 924 together. Using the zero product property, we're going to make our generic rectangle. We have 6x squared down here, and then we have our negative 10 up here. Classic diamond problem, we should have negative 60x squared up here and 11x down here. Hopefully you see that it should be a positive 15x here and a negative 4x here. So I'm going to put this guy up here, positive 15, that should be a positive 15x, negative 4x down here. And we have 2x, 3x. This should be a positive 5 and a negative 2. So when you write it out, you should have 3x minus 2 times the quantity 2x plus 5 equals 0. And by zero product property, we have our two equations. We have 3x minus 2 equals 0 and 2x plus 5 equals 0. X should be positive 2/3 and x should be a negative 5/2. All right. So that was zero product property. Next, we are going to apply the quadratic formula. Hopefully you're singing that song in your head still. I'm going to first label what A, B, and C are. All right. So A, in this case, would be positive 6. B would be positive 11. And C should be a negative 10. All right. So this is important to make reference to, make note of. Always label your A, B, and C. All right. So when we're writing out the formula, x should be a negative 11 plus or minus the square root of 11 squared minus 4 times 6 times negative 10. Extend that. All over 2 times 6. All right. So hopefully you're pretty organized and write this out completely. The next step would be let's gather up everything under the root. This is the best next step you should do. So keep it all together for right now. You have the negative 11 plus or minus the square root, and you should get a positive 361 under the radical, all over 2 times 6. Now we can split it off. So you'll get x equals negative 11 plus the square root of 361 over 12, and x equals negative 11 minus the square root of 361 all over 12. And for your x values, when you solve it, you're going to plug all of that into your calculator, all right, as two separate equations. So the negative 11 plus the square root of 361 all over 12. Do not round until the very end. I'll say that again. Do not round until the very end. This is very important. Sometimes the number under the radical, when you solve that, you might not get a whole number, and that's okay. Do not touch that until the very end when you solve for x, all right? So for your answers for this, you should get 2/3 and negative 5/2. Is this the same thing that we got up there? I would hope so. So they're both two different ways of solving. A little longer of a process, but a little more practice using the quadratic equation. All right, moving on to 925. As the Math Notes box from lesson 912 demonstrated, the quadratic formula can solve any quadratic equation, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, or standard form, if a does not equal 0. But what if the equation is not in standard form or it has missing terms? So we are going to practice that a bit today. I'll do A with you first, and then you are going to do B, C, and D on your own, and I will provide you with those answers. All right, so let's get going on A. A, we always, first step, always label your terms. So the A term is 4 here. B term is missing, so B is going to equal 0. Make a note of that. B equals 0 here. C equals a negative 121. All right, so when we plug this into our quadratic formula, you should get x equals 0 is just going to be 0 plus or minus the square root of 0 squared, which again is just 0, minus 4 times 4 times negative 121 all over 2 times 4. And when we write this guy out, you should get under the radical x equals 0 plus or minus the square root of, and you should get, bigger number, 1,936 all over 8. And this is when we split it off. So we have our two equations. We have x equals 0 plus. And I actually, since it's a whole number, I just put that into my calculator, and the square root of 1,936 I found is a positive 44. So we have 0 plus 44 over 8, and x equals 0 minus 44 over 8. Cool? So your final answers, you should get x equals 5.5 and negative 5.5. All right. Hopefully you are good on that. We got two solutions for that one. Pause the video here and do B, C, and D on your own. And friendly reminder to think back to the problems that we did at the start of class on Friday, figuring out the number of solutions that each problem will have. Some of them might have 0, 1, or 2 solutions, friendly reminder. All right, so pause the video here and try B, C, and D on your own. All right, hopefully you got them. B, the answers for B, you should have gotten x equals, let's see, x equals 2 or x equals a negative 1/2. All right, hopefully you got that. There were 2 solutions there. Moving on to C. Hopefully you got C done. X should be no real solutions. What does that mean? That means you took the root of a negative number. It is not solvable. All right, so no real solutions for C. D, I like D. You should have only gotten 1 solution for D. Hopefully you caught that. You get x equals, you should have gotten x equals a positive 5, 6. All right. Hopefully you're getting a little more comfortable with this every single time you do another problem. Always make a note. Remember, you should be labeling A, B, and C for every single problem. This just makes it so much easier to remember to keep the negatives and positives straight. All right. If you have any questions, as always, shoot me an email. Same thing with your test corrections. Due Friday, learning long due Wednesday, and hopefully you got your homework written down at the beginning of this video. All right. See you guys tomorrow.